I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars.
We pick up from where we left off last week. More car stories and more home mechanics from Rob. Right, I tell you what you did. You mentioned a Mr. 2.
Yeah, the Mr. 2.
Yes.
That was when I still had the Passat out of action and I was running around in my Felicia. About a month into the Felicia, I saw a post on Pistonheads in the Southwest section from a guy who had a 1990 Toyota Mr. 2. So the Mark II. And it had a hole in the radiator. It had been basically just abandoned because it was making these horrible noises. Just lots of banging noises underneath. The guy said, I don't know anything about mechanics. All I know is it's been looked after. It's got a hole in the radiator. I know some of the guys on here like taking on projects. Does anyone want it? So I sent him a message. How much do you want for it? He goes, 160 quid. Done.
Wow. Very good.
Does the engine run? Yeah, it runs fine. It's got an MOT? Yeah. All right, cool. So just needs a new radiator. Well, it's making horrible noises. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, it turned up covered in frost at the time because it was still horrifically cold. I got it up to temperature, took it out for a little test drive, and then I found out, yep, it's now massively overheating and it's pissing water out of the radiator. So yes, it really does need a new radiator. But that's when it started making the horrible banging noises. And that was purely because, being a mid-engined, you've got the engine at the back and the radiator at the front. And there are these two metal tubes that carry coolant from the front to the back. And it was just air bubbles going through those tubes. That's all the banging was.
That's ridiculous.
So I put a new radiator on it for 160 quid, and it was fine. Until I washed it, and then I found out there was a crack in the distributor cap because it didn't want to start again.
Oh, that's well. At least it's fairly easy to spot that, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So I gave it a mini service, and it's absolutely fine. The only other thing it had that the clutch was worn, but other than that, it didn't really have any problems.
It needed a polish.
Oh, it definitely needed a polish. It was pink, completely pink when I got it. So a lot of elbow grease later, because at that point I didn't have an electrical polisher. I did it all by hand, but I got it looking red again, and it actually looked really nice by the end of it.
Lovely.
Yeah,
good
you really
cars,
redeemed
those.
that actually. It wasn't a turbo, but it still went. It wasn't
a turbo. It was actually, that was not even the GT, so it was the slowest one you can get.
But you got to think, they're not heavy cars.
Oh no. No, the only complaint I have about that car is the steering. Because like the 944, it didn't have power steering.
Right.
But now this is the weird thing. The 944 doesn't have heavy steering, but the steering rack isn't that slow. Which is probably why it's so bloody heavy. The Mr. 2, incredibly slow steering rack. So it wasn't that heavy. But my God, it took a lot of work to get it to go around a corner because it was so slow.
Long way to go. Yes.
Yeah, so when I finally got the Passat back from the garage, I'd been driving the MR2 for months at this point, solidly. I just use it as my only car. And having a great deal of fun with it. I got back in the Passat, and the first time I went to go around a corner, I almost crashed it straight into a curb. I was like, Jesus Christ, that steering wheel's responsive.
Oh, yeah, that was...
Wonderful.
How long did you have that for?
I got it in January, and I sold it in summer. I can't remember when, so I had it for a good amount of time.
Oh, you did it the right way round there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you sold it for a reasonable...
I sold it for a lot more than I bought it for. I sold it for $580, I think.
Yeah, that'll do.
Which
okay, but you'd put a fair bit of work into it by the sound of it.
Oh yeah, but I made a decent bit of money because I hadn't spent that much money on it.
It's just mainly time.
What were those? You replaced? What was it? was it in the engine bay or near enough the engine bay? Weren't there
Oh,
those?
the cancer bars.
That's the ones, yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 little triangulation braces at the bottom of the engine bay, and they're nicknamed cancer bars because they just rot out. And I'd heard about these, so I went to have a look under mine, and it's like, they look fine until I unbolted them and looked at them and went, no, they're not. They're rusted through. There's just on the side that you see when you go under the car, they look absolutely fine.
Okay,
On the other
right.
side, there's a massive hole, and like, that's not metal anymore.
What'd
But
you
yeah,
do?
you can still buy them from Toyota, so I just got brand new ones and put them on.
They weren't expensive,
fair
were they?
enough.
Not at all. I think 20 quid for the pair, something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
That'll
worth
do.
doing then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I did find out is that Japanese cars, the parts for older stuff is nowhere near as accessible as German stuff. You've got an old
That's
German car, you can
interesting.
get almost any part still.
Hmm.
The 944 being almost 40 years old now, not so much. But also Porsche are quite big on their classics anyway. So,
Yes,
but
they
you
are.
can still
yeah.
get a lot of like old VW parts,
Mm.
which does come in handy because the 944 does have a lot of shared parts with a Golf. So
Handy.
yeah, I'm a lot
very.
closer to a VW dealership than I am a Porsche dealership. So
Yes, yes.
when I need a part, and it's like, oh, it's a VW code, which worked well when I got new bump stops for the front shocks recently. I was looking around, and you couldn't get these parts easily for the Porsche. All the Porsche dealers and Porsche parts guys, no one really had them in stock. So I went to VW Heritage and looked up the VW code that was literally stamped on the old ones, and like, yeah, we got those. I had them in the next few days. Like, cool.
Perfect.
Happy days.
I can't imagine they were too horrifically priced doing that either.
Oh no, I think I got so dust covers and bump stops for £40 for both front shocks.
Oh, that's not too bad, is it?
Deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, I found with Toyota, a lot of the old parts, they were a bit of a challenge to get. So
That's interesting. You wouldn't think that.
Yeah, because it had a sunroof on that one, and you could take the sunroof out and store it under the bonnet. It had a little place where you could clip it in, and then it would clamp it down in there.
Yeah.
And there was a wind deflector that popped up, but some of the clips were broken on that wind deflector, so it sagged on one side.
Right.
So I figured I'd just go and get new clips from the dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they were like, they're not available. What?
How is that possible?
Something break all the time.
That's ridiculous. I know. Phil mentioned some suspension parts for his Granvia when he had that, and he went to Toyota and they said, yes, we can get those from Japan. It'd be about a month, and it'll be about 750 quid, I think he said.
So, I had another run in recently with that Challenger. Just bulbs for the climate control. They're just blown, so I thought I'll get some new bulbs. Oh no, you can't just get normal ones.
No.
So I will go to the nearest Mitsubishi dealership, and I know that they've ordered parts for Japanese imports before, and it's the same unit that's used in Evos as well. It's used across all Mitsubishis of that era. I'm thinking it's going to be a popular part. No longer available. Oh, actually, we can get them, but they're 100 quid a bulb.
Oh, my word.
No.
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah.
Sorry, the new owner's going to have to make do with. I've rearranged the bulbs a bit to make it a bit easier.
That's ridiculous. 100 quid a bulb?
Yeah. Annoyingly, last week I found a bag at my mum's house that had a load of bulbs in it for a Mitsubishi, and the ones that I needed were in there.
Well, you're sitting on a bloody gold mine.
You are.
I need to find someone with a Mitsubishi from the 90s.
You do.
Yeah. Do him a deal. Do it for 90.
I was going to say, you could,
I'll undercut him.
Undercut the dealer, yes.
Oh, dear.
I'll just be standing outside a dealership waiting for someone with a 90s Mitsubishi to rock up. Oi,
someone will be
need
there.
any bulbs, do you?
You need bulbs. Yeah.
I'll got your bulbs. Oh, dear. Right. So we've done 2 944s and an MR2.
Mm-hmm.
Where we go next?
Felicia.
Let's go to Felicia. Don't forget that. Yeah, we've had the 2 9. But we had the 944 that's still with us, and you've had all the interim cars. What's the next interim car? Considering you've still got 944.
Everyone's favourite.
Yes.
Mark III.
Oh God.
Oh.
Do you remember when we took that to Bewley?
I do. That was its first run out.
What did we think was wrong with it, but it wasn't?
Well, it didn't like going into gear.
That is an issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were around about at one point, and I was trying to get in first, and it just really didn't want to do it. Just ramming the thing. I was like, we'll go into first. Fine, I'll pull away in second, whatever. I can't remember what else did we think was wrong with it.
There was something. There was a whiff in there, something electrical. I'm sure there was.
Well,
That was the blower motor.
How dare you?
The blower motor was trying to set fire to
I
its
thought I
own.
got away with that.
Yes, that was it. Because we were getting this whiff and go, "What? There's something not right in here."
Yeah, I found out it was just the blower motor was a bit dead, and it put so much resistance through the wiring, it melted the surround around the blower switch.
So we were huffing melting plastic while we were driving down there.
Oh yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah. So I'll put a new blower motor in, new switch, sorted.
That's fine. And yeah, because it was, like you say, the undesirables. There was the 8-valve as well, wasn't it?
Yep, 8-valve. So the one that no one really wanted at the time at all.
Mm.
And a 5-door.
Oh yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Just to really put the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Tip-top choice, that. I mean, that wasn't one that you went, oh yeah, I've got to have that. That was your brother's that was already...
That was my brother's car
at your parents'
that had
house.
been sat at my parents' house abandoned with water leaking into it because someone had ripped the aerial off in Cornwall somewhere. The inside was just mould. And I just looked at this thing sat there. I was like, it's just a shame and a bit of a waste that sitting there, isn't it? So I bought it off him for 200 quid. And I just thought, right, I'm going to fix this thing up. So first thing I did was the rear brakes are shot, but I can't undo any of the bolts. So I took the entire rear axle off and just stripped it down, replaced the bushes, and went, right, there you go. You can go back on. Gave the engine a good service because it's just the ignition leads were completely shot because he originally parked it and gave up on it because it's running on 3 cylinders. So I took one of the ignition leads off the white 944, the 944S, because it was the same connections, and I just put it on the Golf, the one that I thought was misfiring, and it just fired on 4 instantly. I was like, all right. So that's the only issue it has.
Wow.
Useless.
Needed a window regulator on the driver's door. Yeah, other than that, a really bloody good clean and a new aerial.
Yeah, stop that water getting in there.
Yeah. Oh, and I put a new headlining in it because that was shot.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, good clean, and yeah, it turned out to be quite a nice little car. And we took it for a track day around Bedford Autodrome as well, and just thrashed it around for the entire day. And it was the lowest power car there on the day. It wasn't the slowest.
Oh, excellent.
I did things properly for a track day, obviously. You think the tyres on this car are shot because the tyres on this car were so bad. The rear ones were your classic Pirelli P6000.
Ditch finders,
so old, they were just dry rotted. So every time it rained, the back end of the car would just take any opportunity to overtake you. So on a small roundabout, I was going round it one day, and then I went to turn off, and I missed my opportunity to turn off as the back end of the car decided it wanted to keep going. And then I was facing the wrong way on this roundabout. I was like, yeah, could you not do that one? So I had to do a 3-point turn in the middle of the roundabout and try again. The final straw was coming into a much bigger, much faster roundabout, pulling a full-on drift. And this is, you know, the roundabout at Roundswell in Barnstaple. The big one by the petrol station. I was going around there, and the back end just kicked out, and just having to apply a lot of lock and pin the throttle. And just waiting to join this roundabout, there was a guy in a Skyline. Just watching this little Mark III Golf. Just
going round
around this roundabout, just thinking, wow, look at that, while I'm inside going, please come through this, please come through this.
No.
Don't take out everyone. Yeah.
Go all the way around.
It was going straight again. It's like, right, ordering new tyres when I get home.
Oh, that's bad.
What did you put on it for the track day?
I put some very nice sticky Hankook tyres on it.
No, that'll do it.
Because
Oh, yeah.
the tyres weren't particularly expensive for that car. And like you could get some nice tyres for about 50, 60, 70 quid. So I put 95 quid tyres on each corner.
Oh,
So I just went, all right, this is going to drive really well. And yeah, it stuck like glue after that. Absolutely throwing it around track. So after doing a handful of laps, you pulled into the pits and the tyres had gotten so warm that they were just... The shape of the tarmac was now embedded in them because they were getting that soft. Like, okay, yeah, these are quite good tyres, aren't they?
well, it's always the recommended thing, isn't it, for a track day? If you're going to do any upgrades, give yourself some good tyres.
Yeah,
it was running
absolutely.
on standard suspension as well. I'd not done anything to suspension.
Mm.
Original shock absorbers at God knows how many 100,000 miles it was on. Original springs, but yeah, just good tyres.
That's all right.
Then the clutch got overheated and decided it didn't want to grip very much.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
if you're
that
thrashing the
much.
pants off it, though, it's not to be expected.
yeah.
That's right. You got a fair amount of use out of it, though, didn't you?
I
for that
already
day?
knew it was on its way out. It was
Mm.
it wasn't actually worn out. It was just an oil leak from the gearbox.
Okay.
So it got oil on the clutch plate and
That's not going to help.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So
Yeah.
when I got it back, I just put a new clutch on it, a new seal on the gearbox, and yeah,
That's all right.
all good.
What came of it? I can't remember.
I sold it back to my brother because he liked it so much, and then
What,
he was
after you'd sorted it all out?
Yeah. He was waiting at a bit of a weird junction just outside of Wheatley in Oxfordshire. It's almost a slip road, but not. But it's coming off of a dual carriageway, and
That
so
sounds
waiting there for cars to go by. And the guy behind in a Vauxhall Insignia decided to not use his eyes and just ploughed into the back of it and made it the shape of a banana.
Oh,
Well,
no.
To be honest, though, if he's driving an Insignia, he won't have been using his eyes because he'd have fallen asleep through boredom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Or deliberately had a crash to end it.
Yeah. I'll
To be
get
fair
something
to
else.
the Insignia, it must have held up quite well because apparently after making a Golf the shape of a banana, he just drove off.
Oh,
he just kept going.
Well, I think he exchanged insurance details and then just left.
that was nice of him.
Yeah, that's lovely. That
I've ruined your day, but mine's still going all right.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, you'll be all right, won't you? Oh, Mom, I'm off.
Apparently, my brother was saying the recovery guy that when he came to pick it up, he couldn't open the passenger door because obviously it's a fucking banana. So he couldn't open the passenger door, and he just said, "Oh, that's an MOT failure, that one, mate. Look at the rest of it."
That's an MOT. Oh my goodness!
He was
Clearly
worried about the.
Yeah, he was worried
the door.
about the door not opening. It's like, what about the fact that the rear wheel is now part of the wheel arch?
Yeah.
There's no gap there anymore.
Oh dear.
It
Not
had
bad.
bigger problems than the door. Yes.
The whole chassis is bent.
Not good.
No, that's fine.
Oh dear.
All right then. Where are we going after golfs?
Oh, that's when things get really exciting.
Go on then.
A 2007 Mondeo Estate. No, Saloon Diesel.
Saloon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I hadn't
Not
forgotten,
Saloon,
but
hatchback.
it's just you could sort of fall asleep in the boredom there. Yeah. Because that was quite leggy that when you bought it, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was 190,000 miles, I think, when I got it.
That was it. Yeah.
Nice.
But it was the engine block had actually been used since the Escort in that diesel. They just turbocharged it and put modern bits on it. So the thing was bulletproof. And the good thing about it is the fuel economy was ridiculous. It would easily get 60.
It's not bad going, was it?
No, that's impressive. Actually.
I was regularly seeing 60 plus out of it.
Yeah, that's
it
very
wasn't
good.
That slow either, which was good. It was fast enough to keep up with traffic. Apart from when it decided the turbo didn't want to use that for whatever reason.
Good.
I found out that was because the guy I bought it from, his dad had used it to go to France and had mounted a curb. He said Oh yeah, I just went up a curb at a petrol station, and then when I went
Right.
under it, the mount that held the radiator and intercooler, all that lot together, had been smashed to pieces and no longer existed.
Hell of a curb then.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
So my fix for that was, rather than buy a whole new radiator, I drill a hole in it and put a bolt through it.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
never an issue after that.
Well, job done.
Yeah, that took us down to the Alps a few times. That was all good. It was a
trusty
very
steed.
reliable little car. Yeah, I only sold it because I bought the next car and I needed to get rid of it.
Yeah, I suppose you're not going to get too excited about a Mondeo. Go on then. Next car.
It was very comfortable, and
no, come on.
it
We
was.
all like a Mondeo.
We
Yeah,
do. And it was a
I did
Daniel
think
Craig one.
they
James Bond.
moved their game on a lot in that car, because
Mm.
before the interiors were a bit but
Yeah.
on that one, yeah, they seriously moved their game on, and it was
Yeah.
actually a really comfortable car to be in.
Yeah, the
And
Mondeo
really
is
well
a good
equipped
car.
as well.
Mm.
I don't think I ever went in it.
I don't think you did.
You parked it outside a lot, but I never went in it.
Yeah, no, it was a really nice car to be inside, and I'll always rate them just because they
Yeah.
are good cars, and it drove
Yeah.
well, and it handled well as well.
I've driven
But-
quite a few Mondeos over the years, and they've all been good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd got a lot of time for them. If someone wants a car of that ilk, then I'll just say, yeah, it's a really good option.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, it's better. Well, everyone gets so bloody clouded by German alternatives.
Yeah, which that they break.
Yeah, or they
Oh,
get
so-
You are,
electrical
yeah.
fault.
A Mondeo is a safer choice, to be honest. Yeah,
thinking man's choice. We always said that.
yeah, we have. Yeah, we like a Mondeo.
It definitely felt tinnier than the German alternatives.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it was a good car. I liked it.
okay.
And also, I found that when I broke my rib, that was actually one of the most comfortable places to be.
well, what
I
better
couldn't sit in a
testimony can there
chair.
be? No.
I couldn't sit in a normal chair. I couldn't walk around. But if I sat in my Mondeo and went for a drive, I'm like, oh, it doesn't hurt. Bloody hell.
Well, I'm just going to go and sit in the car and watch Netflix on my phone.
Well,
I was working in Oxford, and so I broke my rib, and I just walked out of the office in so much pain one day. I was just in the car. I went to drive home, and it was the only place that didn't hurt. I drove all the way back to Devon.
just kept
This is
going.
just comfortable. I don't want this comfort to end, so I'm just going to go somewhere else.
Gonna keep driving.
You missed home by quite a mile, then, didn't you?
A little bit.
That's fine. But go on then. You've had the comfy, reliable, economical Mondeo. What was after that?
A Porsche Boxster.
Yeah.
Of course it was.
Because what's the most sensible place to go?
Where else would you go after a Mondeo? Yeah.
I think you should explain.
Yeah, this was someone from work had this Boxster. It was a 986, as you love your Porsche codes. So
I do.
I know.
Yeah, you do.
So the first gen Boxster, but the year before they facelifted it, so the 2.7 engine, not an S.
Okay.
The basic one, but the later ones that actually had a bit more power. It was a bit more fun. Weird spec as well. It's got xenon headlights, electric memory seats, all kinds of weird stuff for climate control, but not the S. It's very strange.
Okay.
But yeah, someone from work had this. It was his wife's car, and it started making these horrible, weird noises. And he asked me to drive it one day. I was like, you know your cars, and you've got a Porsche. Would you mind just having a drive of this and let me know what you think? It's making this weird noise from like the engine. So I got him to fire it up, and I had a listen around. I was like, it sounds like it's coming from the front of the engine. It sounds a bit like a pulley. And he's there thinking, oh no, he's been reading about IMS bearings and everything, and he was getting all paranoid, and he was like, oh, it's going to blow up, and it's going to blow up. It's like, well, you should take it for a drive, see what you think. So I took it for a drive. It's like, this feels strong, this engine feels good.
Yeah.
The suspension feels good. It's driving really nicely. But yeah, there is that noise coming out of the engine. So I did a bit of reading up. A lot of people just saying, yeah, if it's a pulley coming from the front of the engine, chances are it's your water pump that's gone.
Okay.
I was like, all right, just your best bet is just take it to a garage and just ask them to just check it over, because
Yeah.
they can just get it up in the air and look at the engine while it's running.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So he didn't do that. He carried on driving it, and then it failed an MOT. And it failed an MOT on obviously really, really awful things, like it had a broken spring, which is common for those,
Mm.
and the brake lights didn't work.
Right.
So it's like, all right,
Okay.
so you're talking new brake light switch and new coil springs for the front. All right. And then he doesn't really know anything about cars, so he's decided he's just going to scrap it because he doesn't.
Whoa.
It's like
Yeah.
it's not worth anything. He thought before it was making this weird noise, it's worth about £1,000 max. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, I'm just going to sit back and see how this pans out.
Yes.
And then he starts talking about scrapping it, and I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to see if anyone else in the office is interested to get like above scrap value. So I just keep
Yeah.
my mouth shut. And then he's like, no, I'm just going to scrap it because it's dead. No one's going to want to take this on because it could be a minefield.
Yeah.
I said, I'll give you scrap value for it. So it's like, what are they offering? It's like, oh, they want 300 quid for it. I was like, I'll give you that. That's fine. I'll take it off your hand. If it's completely ruined, I can just part it out and get that back. That's fine. Just the headlights worth more than that.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then he's like, no, because I like you and I get on with you. I don't want us to break up over this. And I,
Bloody hell.
200 quid.
Jesus.
All right.
What an idiot.
So
Want
yeah,
us to break up. Bloody hell.
I bought this Boxster for 200 quid, and then I took a few days off just after I got it, and I spoke to Max at Fraser Part, who is a fantastic guy to deal with if you need Porsche parts. He's like the friendliest guy. He will bend over backwards to get you the right parts.
Mm.
So I spoke to him and said, I've got this Boxster. The water pump is so shot because there's an access panel behind the seats you can take out and see all of the belts.
Right.
So I took that off, and you could just see the pulley for the water pump shaking backwards and forwards. Like, yeah, it's the water pump.
No.
And then water started coming through the bearings. Like, yeah, that's really shot. So I spoke to him and said, yeah, I just need to get a new water pump ASAP. So he sent me one of those down. I got a spring from Eurocar Parts and a new brake light as well, a brake light switch. And I managed to get it all done and took it in for an MOT retest, still within the 5 days, so I got it done for free.
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah, then the next week he saw me coming to work and I just brought it in. It's like, yeah, it's fixed, it's done.
No. Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Oh, God. Go on. How much did you spend on the parts to get it through the MOT?
The water pump was 220 quid.
Right.
Spring was 100 and the brake light switch was 15.
Did he break up with you?
No. He was all right, but yeah, his wife was like, can I ever go in it again?
Oh, dear.
I said, let me fix a couple more bits and then you can have a try.
Oh, very good. And you've still got it?
I still got it. I've been having fun with it just today.
You have?
Yeah.
Well, the poor thing doesn't budge because you've been doing other things. So.
Yeah, that's just because it's not been used for a while and the battery went completely flat.
Yeah.
But it's still functioning. Has that squeal stopped? That was an issue when I was last in it.
Drive shaft? I've replaced the drive shaft.
Okay.
Yeah, I put a new drive shaft on that doesn't do that anymore.
Okay, that's good.
No, it's just got the issue of the worn gear linkage. If you change gear too violently, it pops off and leaves you with third and fourth and nothing else.
Oh, nice.
That is an issue. Well, as you've mentioned before, where you've said, well, if it does pop off, you go, yes, I know how to fix it. But
it does involve putting your hand around a very hot catalytic converter.
Yeah.
lying on the ground while you're doing it as well.
You're going to want to let that cool down.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, luckily it's
Like
got
your
enough torque
skin.
to pull away in third gear, so you can limp it home.
There is nothing wrong with the power from that car
Oh no,
at all.
a lot of people say that. Oh yeah, you should only get the S because the non-S is just got no power and it's rubbish. It's really not.
No.
It's got a little over 200 horsepower, which I know everyone slates cars that have got about 200 horsepower and say they're so slow these days. But
It's all right. It's not. We're not on piston heads now.
No.
it's like everything's got to have 600 horsepower. It really doesn't, does it?
No, it doesn't. That's fine.
No, we've ended up in a daft situation there.
Yeah, you get it on a good road, and the chassis just comes to life. I always said that before. My favourite car I've ever owned was that MR2 because the chassis on that was so much fun, and it handled so well. But you had to know how to drive it, and you had to know how to load it up into corners. But once you figured that one out,
Was that? Because I suppose both mid-engine, they're a bit.
yeah.
It's a bit of a thing to adjust to, isn't it?
On the Boxster, not really. On the MR2, yes. It wasn't quite as refined because the front end was so light, and again, it didn't have that power steering or anything. If you came into a sharp corner and you had it all the way to the back of the car, it just wouldn't turn in. It would just kind of understeer and not do anything. But if you loaded up the front suspension as you turned in, it would grip, and then kind of as you're ready to start accelerating out, you can just go full throttle. All the weight would shift to the back wheels and power you out.
Okay.
The Boxster, you don't really have that issue. You don't need to do that.
Is that because they got the weight distribution better?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a more competent car in general.
Well, they have been doing it a bit.
Just a bit.
Cars, haven't they? So yeah,
They're quite good at it. But you've also got to think that the front end of it is also 911.
Yeah, true.
Because like from the windscreen forward is exactly the same as a 911. All the front suspension, all the bonnet. The only thing that's different is the bumper and some of the bits underneath it. But yeah, it's all the same as the 996, 911. It's just what's behind there is what changes.
It is a good one, and for 200 quid, you cannot knock that.
You can't go wrong, can you? Really?
Yeah, it's one of those cars.
Very well there.
I know if I sell it, I'm going to miss it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a tricky situation. I mean, I suppose you don't really need to at the minute.
No, that's how I've ended up with 3 cars.
Yeah.
All right then. So, is the next one in the list the most recent one?
Yes.
Okay, we've not had any interims that I forgot about.
No, I've not had anything else. Not that I know of. I might have bought something and sold it and forgotten about it. You never know.
You never know.
It might have passed through.
Yeah. This is where I joined your little club of the Volvo V70 club.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got a bloody nice one though.
Yeah, it was. I got lucky because it was a mate of mine who bought it originally. Well, not originally, but he bought it as a one-owner car. One previous owner car, I should say. And quite high mileage, but always been looked after. Always been serviced at Volvo specialists or Volvo dealers. Was next demo one as well.
Nice.
Not really been very far. Sold from a dealership in Newbury and then lived in Bicester for his entire life. So not had to go through all the horrors of Devon and salt and all that. It's just
seaside living.
On the side of it, that was about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, never really got muddy. So he bought it for, I can't remember what he bought it for actually, just $1,500, I think, because it had a couple of issues and they'd had quite a few big bills from it to sort stuff out, and I think they were just sick of it, so they got rid of it. He bought it, but he lives in London, and then the whole ULEZ thing happened, or the ULEZ extension. And I was like, I can't own the Volvo anymore. It's got to go because it's a D5 being a diesel.
Yes.
Got to go. So I bought it off him for $900. Because the brake controller, which always dies on those things, kept on breaking. It wasn't completely broken. It's just about 40% of the time it wouldn't work.
Okay.
So I did a bit of reading up, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's just a bad solder joint, which is what is the main failure of these things. So I went at it with a soldering iron and fixed it and put it back in, and it's been fine.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
think
very
couple of
good
other
price for one of those.
issues. Actually, the only other issue was a glow plug, which again, it was bought by him as a car for us to go to the Alps in. And when we came back from there last time, it developed something. It didn't tell us what it was, but it disabled the turbo. So we were driving from the Alps up the French autoroutes with no turbo. It's going, it really doesn't want to go to 70 miles an hour, does it?
Yeah.
So we pulled over, just turned it off, gave it a little minute to cool down, turned it back on. It was like, it's fine now. But I found out that one of the glow plugs had died. So I think that's what it was.
No, okay.
Obviously, in below freezing temperatures.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not.
It was like only 4
Yeah.
cylinders are firing. Something's
Yeah.
right. Something's not right. So it turned off the turbo.
Well, if those are the only things that have caused issues, you can't really knock it, can you? And
Yeah, it's got a bit of rust around the rear arch, but I'll get that done at some point.
it's all right.
And someone drove into it in the rear corner.
Yeah, that can be remedied. But yeah, I mean, we were both in it the other day. Lovely car.
We were. I'm very impressed, and I might be joining that club myself before too much longer. I'm very tempted.
Today I've signed up for the Volvo High Mileage Club because it's about to hit a new landmark.
I saw
Currently
that.
on
Yes.
169,998,000 miles.
Oh, only one trip to the shop for beer, and then you'll be there.
Yeah,
I've seen one advertised. I've seen one advertised on Facebook down in Liscard for 650 quid. That has done 363,000 miles.
Yeah.
Yes.
If the electrics work, it will be fine.
It will be, solid. Yeah.
Providing the electrics are all right, it will be all right.
You can't really knock it for that price if it's in working order.
Well, you can't. No, absolutely. You can't go.
Well, as we've discovered, yours is in perfect working order. And how many faults did we list just after you told us that it had no problems?
No faults.
There's nothing wrong with it. What about this? Oh, yeah, well, that doesn't work. What about this? No, that doesn't work either.
Like you said, it's not been working for so long. You just sort of overlook it.
Yeah, just ignore it. It's fine. It'll do for the minute. Certainly not buying a new car.
Providing you keep the tank filled.
Yeah, that was annoying.
You're telling me.
Just that was a really daft issue to have.
Yeah, the penny dropped when you tried to drain the diesel filter and nothing came out of it.
Nothing came out.
That should be full of diesel.
Yeah, I was expecting to get absolutely caked in it, but I only got some.
Mm.
And, yeah, but that was all right. We got it going, and off it's popped for its MOT, and
failed it.
Yeah, but it did. I knew it. I knew it needed brakes. Those things have ruined. So
you did say that you knew it was going to need that. Yeah.
They are harsh on brakes. Those things.
So that's fine. I'll have it back next week, and all will be well in the world again.
Yeah, lovely. Very good.
Apart from the gearbox.
Well, I'm going to get him to do a fluid change for me because I'm not doing that myself.
That's been an issue for a little while now, hasn't it?
That has, and I've just not done anything about it. But as it's there, he's going to be doing it anyway. So
yeah. That is the one thing I do want to get sorted on mine, the fluid change on that gearbox. Although my later, stronger one, I still don't trust sealed for life fluids.
No,
such a thing should not exist.
No, it really
that's
shouldn't.
Absolute crap.
No, it was a stupid idea. Yes.
And plus, yours, like you said, properly sealed as well. At least mine's got a dipstick.
Yeah, I believe mine has got a system that you can change it, but it's not just supposed to be like user serviceable. So you don't have a dipstick. You have no idea what's going on in there. It's just like, take it to the dealership when it breaks. When it breaks, that's too fucking late.
Yes.
No, I've watched a few videos and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to pay someone to do that because I don't want to be caked in whatever comes out of that.
No, I've changed gearbox oil, not on an automatic, but I've changed gearbox oil on several manuals, and it's the worst smelling job you can do on a car.
Mm,
Gearbox oil is the most disgusting thing.
yeah. That.
Yeah. I don't need to be doing that.
No, I'll be paying a man for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all
Although
right.
I did change the gearbox oil on the Boxer and it got worse.
Oh, good.
It's
dear.
now a bit. When it's cold, it's quite crunchy in second.
Crunchy. Lovely.
Yeah, you go from first to second. If you do it a bit too swiftly when it's cold, you just get a horrendous crunch. And then everyone turns and stares at you.
Oh, no.
Oh dear. I quite like your story of changing the clutch on that.
Oh, which time?
Well, you did it 3 times in a row, didn't you?
I did.
No.
Thanks for being supplied with the wrong bloody part.
Yeah, you're really good at that now.
Oh yeah, I know how to do it.
You're the go-to man for box to clutch change.
Yeah, especially as I did it single-handedly. I got help on the first time, and then I found out that I had the wrong part in there, and it just wasn't gripping properly, so it's just slipping everywhere it went. So I then ripped it all apart because I had the entire car button back together. Found out it was wrong. I had to pull the whole thing apart again, and then I had to do the clutch change twice more after that.
Bloody hell.
My word.
Single-handedly in a driveway at the side of a road in Oxford.
Yeah, I saw that driveway. That is not the place to be doing car maintenance.
Oh no. There was one I was in the middle of that. There was some guy in a Golf with a puncher. I just pulled up at the pavement. I just glanced back, like, why have you just stopped there? And then he's like, he's got a flat tire. He decided to try and change it to the spare. And then I'm aware he's behind me when I'm struggling with this gearbox. So I come out from under the car, put the gearbox back down. I'm under the car trying to kind of lift this entire gearbox up single-handedly back onto the bell housing.
Probably doesn't weigh much, does it?
No, you barely notice it. So I put that back down. I'm like, are you all right? It's like, oh yeah, I've got a puncture, and he's managed to undo all of the wheel nuts, and that's as far as he's gotten. So I'm like, would you like some help? Because I've got my trolley jack right here.
Right here. Yes.
Was he? When you say he'd undone the nuts, has he not jacked the car up at this point?
No.
Oh,
When you say undone, has he done the correct thing and just cracked them off slightly, or undone?
Removed.
Oh shit!
Yes. So
well, where was he go? What did he think was going to happen?
I don't think he thought.
No.
So I very quickly got the trolley jack under the car, jacked it up, and the wheel just fell off.
Or it fell off its own
Bloody
wheels.
hell!
So I put the spare on. I had a torque wrench there as well, so I torqued them all up.
Oh, did it properly? Very good.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, you're a mobile mechanic?" It's like, "No, my car's just broken."
Yeah, and I haven't got any money.
Honestly, just
Unbelievable.
I cannot follow the thought process there. It's genuinely terrifying.
It was absolutely bewildering. That he's like, "I have no idea what I'm doing, but God, I'm gonna do it."
Did he think he could just pull the wheel off and it would just stay there, sort of suspended?
I don't know if he knows how wheels work. Maybe he previously had a Citroen DS. I don't know.
That's the only way to explain it.
Yeah, it is the only way. He'd only ever driven Citroen DSs.
Bloody hell!
I don't think he was French.
It's a worry, isn't it? It really is.
Oh, dear.
That's
bad.
Oh no! Just if you're that deluded about it, bloody ring the RAC or something.
Well, be a member of something. Yes, exactly.
Granted, I am a member of something just in case.
Well,
I'm a member as well.
Yeah.
Mind you, I don't splash all the cash. I just pay for auto aid. They're really good.
I've got the old RAC, but I've got the quite expensive cover because I broke down in the 944 before. Because with a 1983 car, you want some decent cover.
Yes, you do. Yes.
And I found out that we can only tow you this far with your current cover. You went, you what?
Oh no,
that's not going to work.
That's not where I need it to be to fix it.
No.
So I then said, right, what cover do I need to get this further? So I had to sign up for it there and then.
Yes, most of them will let you pay there and then. To be fair,
yeah.
For a premium, bloody hell.
Oh well, yes.
Well,
but I mean, if
I got it towed to where I could at that point and just found out what I had to sign up for. And he said, "Yeah, this is the package you need." And
Right.
Fair enough. Yeah, they're a bit funny about that sometimes if you sign up and then immediately say,
Yeah.
"Now, while I've got you."
Yeah.
that again involved a gearbox removal to fix that. But luckily,
bloody
where I was, there were neighbours to help. So
that's
Oh,
handy.
excellent. That's
yeah,
good.
'cause I have tried to change the gearbox on, or take the gearbox off and refit it on the 944 single-handedly before. I can take it off. I cannot get it back on.
I'll get it back on again.
You get two people, and it's so easy. But one person, absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
That's a weighty lump, that isn't it? Yes.
Well, the Boxster one's a similar weight, but you don't have all the car in the way.
I suppose
You sit behind it, and it's like, oh yeah, I can see the bell housing. There it is.
Right.
There's the
It's all
clutch.
just
You
there.
just slide it in. But on the 944, it's like, no, you've got to get up because there's a lot of other car in the way.
Yeah.
You've got to get around the fuel tank, and you've got to get on that at the right angle. It's like, oh, it's very heavy.
I suppose as well because for people who don't know, it's transaxle, isn't it?
Yep, gearbox is in the back of the car.
Mm-hmm. But a weight distribution, yeah.
It does have good weight distribution, which you can tell when your suspension's absolutely shot, and you can still get around a corner.
It's a cracking car. Like I said in one of the previous podcasts, I think it was my favourite driving experience ever, actually.
Yeah, it just shows that you haven't driven the Boxster hard enough.
No, I've actually borrowed the Boxster more, but I don't think it was used on particularly enjoyable roads.
No, well, I don't know if I'm going to keep the Boxster forever, but I do know that before I get rid of it, I absolutely have to get it on track.
I have also said first dibs as well.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, I'll ruin it on track first, and then you can.
Completely knackered.
Absolutely shagged. Yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah, it's got some very nice tyres on it now at the moment. It's got some nice Goodyear F1s all around.
Well, when they're down to the wire,
which normally takes me less than a year.
Very good.
Delivery is at least.
Oh, it's all right, isn't it? I think I've said it as well. I think while it is wonderful to drive, one of the favourite things about that is the noise.
Oh yeah, it makes a good noise, but it's all induction.
Yeah, because the intake's right beside your head, pretty much, isn't it?
Well, by the passenger's head, yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it says a lot about the change of how it's driven from the previous owner to me, because the previous owner, it had new front tyres on in their ownership, but when I got it, the rear tyres were dry rotted. And since then, I've only last year, actually no, it was this year, replaced the front tyres that were on it when I got it. But it's on its fourth set of rear tyres.
Well, that's because you're doing it properly now, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Drive it by the throttle. That's how you do it.
Yeah, and well, yeah. When I did take it out, I mean, it like you were saying, people say, "Oh, it's not fast enough." You go, I don't agree. It's very easy.
Revvy.
It's very easy to hit speeds you shouldn't.
Oh, very easy. But I like the way it's also a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde car. So you keep the revs low and you can potter around town with it, and it's a very, very civilized car. But once you take that thing up to the red line, it changes. It really changes how it behaves. It suddenly gets very, very eager.
Well, it's the Porsche thing, isn't it? It just covers all bases.
That's what you want, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's what I want.
That's what you want, certainly. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's what you need to realise you want, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
You'll get there in the end. You'll be all right. You'll come to your senses. You will.
How many Porsches have you driven, Mike? Come
on. Well, let's see. Now, take me a minute. None.
I think I'm starting to see the issue.
I've been in some. I've never driven one.
Do you need to borrow one for it?
Maybe.
Well, there's an invitation. There you go.
I'm not going to say no to that.
Be careful, because they're both very fragile at the moment.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to get stuck with an
one's
enormous bill.
currently sat outside on charge. So. and the other one's currently sat on axle stands.
Right,
Yeah.
When you
Maybe
say
not that
one
one.
is sat on charge,
Hmm.
I know where you live and I know where your car is. How is that
Yeah,
on charge?
I parked it in the parking space that's directly under my window, and I dropped an extension lead out the window.
Yes,
Lovely.
because you are one floor up.
Yes. I've got a CTEC charger, so I bought a second little comfort thing that I've hardwired into the battery, so I
Okay.
can have the bonnet shut as well while it's out there on charge.
All
Very
right, so it's
good.
safe and secure and charging up. So it's just as long as no one unplugs it, you're right.
Oh, they can't. The mains lead is going. There's enough of a gap between the headlight, bonnet, and bumper that the mains lead can come out there.
Oh, right. Okay,
And,
so the plug is in.
everything's in the front boot.
Oh,
Oh, ideal.
perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, well, there
can't
you go
tamper
then.
with that.
So as long as no one trips over it and puts a claim in, you're all right.
If they trip over it, I'm wondering what they're doing around there. They better be watering the plants. There's no other reason for them to be there.
They're clambering around in the bushes.
I know your noisy neighbours could do with tripping over something. Now sort them out.
Well, they got to keep making my ceiling leak first.
Oh yeah, they'll get right on that. But yeah, well that's good. So we've regaled everyone with your entire car history there.
That's a fine selection,
Yeah.
sir.
Well, thank you. It's the only one that I deliberately bought. I think was the Passats. Everything else just was an
Sort of
opportunity.
happened. Yes.
Yeah, all right then. Okay, so we've gone through everything you've had. What do you want next?
I haven't really thought about what I want next. I've always wanted an RX-7 FD
Well, yeah.
because they're just lovely.
Mm,
Ever since I think it was little micro machines of one as a kid. I
Hmm.
just saw it and went, "Oh, what is that? That's a gorgeous shape." And then, the more I looked into it, it's like, I really like them.
mm.
What else would I really like? I don't really know. There's obviously a lot of things down there. I'd love a Subaru SVX, as you know.
Yeah, well, I'll join you on that.
Yeah, just because quirky, no one knows what they are, comfy, and I love them from Gran Turismo.
A lot of this comes from Gran Turismo, doesn't it?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have,
Not the Porsches. They come from Need for Speed Porsche.
yeah. Oh, mind you, we did get some. Was it roof in
Yep.
Gran Turismo 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you even had in Gran Turismo 3, you had the Roof Spider 3400S, which was a
Yep.
986 Boxster with a 911 engine.
Yep. That'll do nicely, but yeah, like you say, that quirky Japanese stuff, FTOs, GTOs,
Yeah,
Skylines.
I'd like an FTO as a project, but it'd have to be bloody cheap because I don't like them enough to actually spend any real money on one.
And the trouble is, they're all bloody autos as well.
Not all of them. There are a few manuals.
It's a very rare breed.
Yeah, and then you've got the challenge of the Myvec is the one to get, but there's no real way unless you actually look under the bonnet of which one's which.
Mm.
Not that I know, anyway. There might be that I don't know of.
No, they are pretty cool, but yeah, it's minefield that is. Can we tempt you with sort of run of the mill Subaru stuff? Impressors?
Oh, I do like an Impreza. I would, as I know you have stated before, I would like a classic Impreza. But I also know how rusty they get. There are some
Yes.
chaps, I can't remember the name of the channel on YouTube. They are currently redoing an Impreza P1.
Oh,
And they are fully going back to bare metal on it. And the amount of rust they are uncovering is enough to put you off any classic Impreza.
Which is a shame, isn't it? Because we've all looked on them fondly, but it is a bloody nightmare.
Yeah, it's a classic Impreza and the Evo 4. The 4 in particular, I've always got a soft spot for.
Yeah, I'd join you on a 4 or a 6, I'd say, actually.
Yeah. I wouldn't say no to a 5, but 4 would be preferable.
Yeah.
But I would gladly take a 3.
Yeah.
I remember around Barnstable, there used to be an Evo 3 I'd see around every so often.
Yeah, that was a while back, actually.
Yeah, black one.
Mm. Yeah, nice looking thing. And I suppose you go back on the Subaru thing, probably a sort of mid-late 90s Legacy Spec B.
Legacy Spec B. I have always liked the later Legacies as well. Not the last one because that was horrible. But the one that Marty from Mighty Car Mods has got, the same
Super
one
Gramps.
as Super Gramps. Yeah, I always liked that shape. I thought that was a
Yeah, they are
really
nice.
nice looking car.
Oh, don't get the diesels.
Oh no,
Oh, they explode.
no. I remember when they came out and they were always going on about, oh yeah, it's the first Boxster diesel. Probably a reason why no one's done that before, though, isn't there?
Yeah. It didn't fare well, those.
No, they weren't particularly economic or anything. They had nothing great apart from they said they've got a low centre of gravity in a diesel.
That's great.
Does
Yeah.
anyone care?
Yeah, and just if you've got that real issue, you get 200,000 miles, and if it hasn't blown up, it will.
Mm. Well, I mean, even the petrols get enough issues with like piston slaps. So.
Yeah, they are nice. Yeah, like you say, that later one, very good. Those just 90s ones, yeah, cracking cars. But
yeah, I do like a lot of Subarus, but not the like Tribeca. No.
Yeah, I mean it's uncommon, but it's still uninteresting.
Oh, it's uncommon for a reason.
Mm.
Because it's horrifically ugly.
It is a munter. There's one. The one that lived around here in Newport that was well cared for now lives around in Bickington.
Yeah.
So it's still around. The people in Newport have bought a Forester.
Oh.
Oh,
There's some Foresters I like, and then some Foresters I hate.
It'll be the one you hate they bought.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So there we go. So yeah, I thought you'd like a bit of a local catch up for you.
Well, yeah, it's always good to have a catch up of. Well, recently I spent a lot of time down there, but before that, not really.
No, but yeah. Okay, then. So you want some random Japanese stuff next, then, if possible.
Yeah, I do like some Japanese stuff. I would happily have an MX-5.
Mark
yeah.
1.
I would like a Mark 1, but again, rust. And
Yeah.
I've also got a car from 1983 that has got the rust angle covered for me. I don't really want another car where I have to think about rust, so it would be a Mark III, the NC for me.
Yeah, I suppose it's the correct choice at the moment because they've not gone daft.
Nope. And if you get the Sport one, you've got I think it's the 6-speed gearbox in those, and you get the LSD as well. So
yeah, that'll do.
You've got a nice spec in there as well, and you've got a bit of scope there to, I don't know, supercharge or turbocharge it as well. Make something a little bit silly, and you've got a good base.
Yeah, you'll be all right with that. I mean, ordinarily, I would suggest something slightly different, but your friend's bought one, and that'd be
the S2000. Yeah, I'm still trying to get a go in that.
Oh, is he not given that up yet?
Not yet. He keeps on saying I can have a go, but it's not happened.
Bastard.
Yeah, I mean, I've let him borrow the Boxster, so.
Yeah, I think it's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I never got to have a go in his supercharged MX-5 either, actually.
No, having seen his S2000, I think, that'd be quite lovely to have a go in.
It is very nice.
That's a good choice.
I've been for a ride in it. That's as far as it got.
Just revvy loveliness, that.
It is. Oh, the noise that thing makes is ridiculous. It's been decatted at one point, and it's so loud. He said it came with the cats, and I really want to put them back on because it's so loud.
It's too loud.
It's really loud.
It's a nice looking thing.
It is a lovely looking thing.
But
yeah, well, you were in the Volvo with me when we went to Silverstone, which was in front of him, so you wouldn't have heard how obnoxiously loud it is.
Yeah, no, I missed all of that. The only time I heard it start up is when he drove out of the campsite really slowly to go and buy some nondescript snacks from the shop.
Yeah, when he came back, I had to say to him, I was like, I've never heard that car be that quiet. I didn't know it was possible.
He had much need to go and buy some nondescript meat that had been pre-cooked. And I don't really know what his thoughts were in that.
No, I'm not sure what that one was.
Well, to be fair,
he's around this weekend, so maybe I'll ask him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, find out why you wanted to do that. I assuming it was to buy tobacco at the same time.
I assume so, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll have some spur of the moment meat while I'm buying some cancer sticks, so that's fine.
Yeah, as you do.
They go hand in hand, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Much the same effect on the body, I believe.
Yeah, well, as someone who partakes every now and then, yeah, I like a snack with my cigarettes.
And smoke on the meat.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I'm going to say then you're going to have to come back and update us then when you bought something Japanese.
I think so.
Well, we'll see about that. It might be a while. I've got no intention of buying anything soon, but you know how these things go.
When you've got
Well, that means something's just around the corner then, doesn't it?
I had no intention to buy a Volvo or a Boxster. So.
Well, there you go.
And you've bought two really quite good examples, both sub 1,000. That's ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah, that
I
is
wouldn't say the
ridiculous.
Boxster's a good example, a reasonable example.
Yeah, I mean it's not.
It's got its issues,
but it works.
It's definitely a usable example. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
I can drive it. I was using it as a daily driver for 2 years.
Yeah, I used it for a while. You've taken me out in it several times. We've done various jaunts in it. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, when the gear linkage is done, it'll be more fun.
Yeah, I've not witnessed it fail miserably on that.
Oh, I have, and it's getting worse.
It's
more common since I put a quick shifter in it. So the shift was so loose, I had to do something about it. So I put a quick shifter.
Right.
It made it better, but it made it more likely for the other linkage to pop off.
Oh,
and
good.
Also highlighted that the rear linkage is also completely shot. So
right, that's a job for the listen.
Well, that's the one link that keeps falling off is 120 quid. And the main linkage that's got the bit of slop in it that needs replacing, which includes the other linkage, that's over 500 quid.
Considering the price you paid for that, you could have bought 3 boxes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I suppose
I'll just have to find another one and steal the linkage off of it.
There you go.
Is it a particularly complex thing?
Not hugely. I've wondered if someone could maybe put a new piece in for me.
If only someone knew an engineer.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, I got one of those. Can you dig out some photos or diagrams?
Well, what I was thinking is I might see how much to get a second-hand one. Say off of Breakers or something, and then I'll have the other one spare. So I can actually have it off and then take it to wherever it needs to be so they can have a look at it and see how they could improve it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've got a man for that.
All right. Well, I'll sort out another one just so it keeps the car in action. I can take it off and then they can have it and do whatever they want with it.
Okay. Well, and that works quite well because he's not next door to you, but it's Swindon. So
that's not bad.
No, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Even if he wanted to, he could then sell that as a thing to anyone that wants to improve their Boxster shift.
Well, he does like a little project, so that wouldn't hurt actually.
Yeah,
very good.
These parts are such silly money, especially the linkage. All it is like a little cup that goes on a ball joint.
And especially if you can do one that actually improves it and costs less.
Yeah, because the 986s and 996s are both common for bad shifters, and 7s actually.
Are they the same part or?
6s I know are. I don't know about the 7s, but I don't. I think it's only the 5-speed that shares the part with mine. I don't think the 6 speeds have the same bit.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
So the S has got a different one.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, it might just be a case of mine's just knackered. I know the linkage goes, the one that keeps popping off, that's common for failing, but I don't know if the actual pivot that's a bit loose is a common thing or not. That might just be mine's knackered for whatever reason. So another second-hand one might just fix it.
Well, we'll see. If it doesn't, we've got you covered, so you're right.
Yeah. Well, it'll be good to let them have a look at it and see if they can just fix it up anyway.
Yeah. No, don't worry. I shall put you in touch.
Yeah, I know it's just one of the pivots. You can literally hold it and it just wobbles from side to side. And that side to side action magnifies at the gear stick.
Not brilliant.
No,
No,
it's
not.
just not. Still, it's better than 944, which that gear shift is so bad.
Well, that's a hell of a long linkage.
It's a very long linkage. Well, similar length, to be fair.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the gearbox is still going to be behind you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
On
I
the
just,
Boxster, you've got an engine and then the gearbox.
of course,
The
yeah. The
944,
gearbox.
you've got rear seats and then the gearbox.
Yeah, of course, the gearbox behind. Yeah.
Like you say, it's a long way to go, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Righto. Okay, so we could have this. We've got someone who'll make it. I can market it. We'll be all over this.
Oh, there we go.
Nice little learner.
Is your marketing go? It's a long bloody way behind you.
So make sure you got a good one. Yeah.
Yes. There you
Make
go.
sure it's tight.
Yeah, that's a life lesson, isn't it?
Don't type that into Google ever.
No.
No.
Oh dear. Right. Before it goes off the rails. Bloody hell. Right. Well, that's bloody marvellous. Thank you very much, mate.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been a good chuckle.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
most
good
pleased to get
stuff.
you on. Considering you've been talked about and your cars have been featured far too much, it seems a bit harsh that you haven't been on sooner.
Oh, yeah. That's just clearly it's a ploy for you to make me lend you more cars.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Don't know it, does it?
No, it's
Yeah,
not gonna wait.
I know you're after a go in that Volvo.
Yeah, I'd like a go in that. Just for
I've
curiosity.
driven yours. It'll be a good comparison.
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
I need to test drive one before I buy one. So,
If
do.
only you knew some owners of them.
some owners of them. Yeah, exactly. It's weird.
You'll be all right. But you can have a go in Volvos. You've offered a Porsche, and it's
Yeah.
fine.
You should have offered at the weekend when we were coming back. It's like, can I have a go? It's like, oh god, yeah, I don't want to drive.
Oh, yeah, but I was busting for a twiddle there. That could have
Oh,
gone badly wrong.
Yeah,
there I would have gladly let you drive because I could not been bothered during that drive.
Oh, that was just miserable, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Well, you were asleep for half of it.
Yeah, I did have a little nap.
You did.
A
Yes.
very sudden wake up though.
Well, it wasn't so. It was just there was a roundabout after a long straight road. There was a roundabout that woke me up, and then some dickhead had put the heated seat on.
On full.
Yes,
That's what
That's
they're
just the
for.
way that you woke up at the roundabout, and I was trying to cruise up to it. I wasn't doing any harsh braking. I was like, all right, we'll gradually pull up to the roundabout. You're like, hey, all right, what did I do?
yeah. Well, yeah, but if you're used to sleeping in a bed, there's no roundabouts involved.
Not usually.
Not usually. No.
Oh, unless you're doing something wrong.
And then, yeah, just after stirring, it's like my ass is on fire. Not in a bad
Depends on
way.
wheel, doesn't
Oh God, it's fine.
We all had the same lunch. You can't blame it on that.
It wasn't the sprouts. It was just a heated seat. Oh dear. Right.
Very good, Rob. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure, mate. I shall. Yeah, we'll get you back on when you make another daft purchase.
Oh, you're just trying to spur me on to buy another purchase, aren't you?
No, I don't need to spur you on, like you said. It'll just happen. And now you've said
I
you don't
have
need.
anywhere to park my current cars. One's in a different county entirely.
It's fine. You don't have to worry about the logistics just now.
Ooh.
It'll happen. It'll be fine.
I mean, I was tempted to. I walked past a very cheap Mark V Golf for £200, and it just said spares or repairs. I'm like, I have no idea what's wrong with this, but it's £200, and I'm quite tempted.
Oh, you see, it's happening already.
If you offer me a car for £200, I'm gonna think about it.
That's your sweet spot, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I've done very well for around £200 in the past.
I'm going to make a note of that just in
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, right.
You need to get rid of a car. It's
Yeah.
£200.
200 quid. Don't need to tell you what's wrong with it,
It
apparently.
doesn't have any wheels.
Just put him near it and he'll buy it. It's fine.
You buy it, yeah, 200 quid.
First,
Mate.
this one piqued my interest as I walked past it because my car was just in getting some tyres, so I went for a walk. So I walked past it and I thought, why is that Golf parked really weird? And it looked in fairly good condition. And then I saw the sign in it and went, could be that wrong with it, really?
For 200 quid, something must be catastrophic, surely.
Yeah.
Parked weird because that's the only place they could get it to.
No, where it was parked, it would actually be more effort to get it there.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
Like, it clearly runs. So that's a very good start.
Oh dear! Right, so you heard it here first. You're going to buy a Mark V Golf.
There's a Golf
luckily-
coming. Yeah.
Luckily, next time I went past, it was gone. I was
right.
saved.
Oh, lucky
Someone
escape.
Someone else steamed in there for you.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
someone else's problem.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, we'll come back then when there's something slightly more in sort of exciting than a Mark V Golf. Then.
Yeah, if you want to offer me like a Porsche 914, yeah, offer me one of those for
200 quid.
200 quid.
That
I think
would be a pile of rust.
I think we'd all take you up on 200 quid now. So whoever's offering that particular 914 for 200 quid, I'll raise you a quid. Very good.
I don't know. I have bought cars for 300 quid that paid off all right in the end.
Ooh. Budget's going up.
Money bags.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that one did cost several thousand in the end.
Don't worry about that.
No, don't worry about that at this stage.
But although the one that cost me nothing has cost me the most. I don't like to think about how much I've spent on that thing.
No, don't add it up, but you have
No,
to.
don't.
We don't consider things like that.
That's the concluding part of our special episodes with Rob. We'd like to say a big thank you to him for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram, or get in touch via info@stuffandwaffle.co.uk. Thank you very much for listening.